All right, Unit 6 of Asia is talking about the continent itself as well as the individual countries. If you are absent, make sure you fill in the blanks on your notes or at least print off the PowerPoint under Google Classroom. So first of all, yes, everything on here is showing the climate in different countries of Asia. This shows Russia in particular when it talks about different climate areas as well as geographical features. Russia itself has a population of 143 million people. Its capital is Moscow, and its economy itself serves more of an upper middle class income that is mixed with a transitional economy. Basically, this means that while other people have a free market to sell things, the government still owns oil and gas industries within the country. The geography of this country contains physical features like plateaus, mountains, peninsulas, plains, and other areas of flatland. The climate itself ranges from a subarctic climate in the very far north all the way to humid and rainy, which is closer to areas in China or Mongolia and everything else that is further south near the equator. The natural resources of Russia are fossil fuels and minerals, as well as a piece of physical feature called softwood. Those fossil fuels are oil, natural gas, and coal, and you'll see those three throughout the entire continent of Asia. Government itself within Russia has to do with a mix between past communism and the new, more free government system. In the past, until 1993, Russia was run under a communist government. When that 1993 came along, they actually changed their government because of protest and opposition to a new constitutional government, making it the Russian Federation. Religion within this country is actually not near as popular because originally the communist government didn't allow religion to be practiced. Regardless, nowadays, only about half of the Russian people say that they are actually practicing some sort of religion, such as Eastern Orthodox Christianity, as well as many of them being Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, or Protestant. The culture and lifestyle of this country differs depending on the people and where they're located, but some of it's very famous. Art in the country of Russia goes from oral traditions of telling stories and legends within groups of people, cities, or smaller areas, as well as a very popular museum called the Hermitage Museum. It contains famous jewel-encrusted Easter eggs that are kind of like the size of a football. They have all kinds of things in it, like rubies and sapphires, diamonds, things like that. One of the more popular scientific recognition that Russia has is the competition between the US and Russia during the Cold War to see who could get people into space first. Russia actually put the first man into space in 1961, and the US followed Russia in putting their first person on the moon in 1969. Most Russians actually have a different type of housing in comparison to other countries. They use their large country to put many apartments, and they house many generations in one apartment. Additionally, because it's so cold in Russia, a lot of the times these apartments are kind of insulated with 3 different doors to keep them warm. Additionally, the most common sports that they have for lifestyle choices is hockey, figure skating, and gymnastics. Especially in the last 2 weeks, we see them happening in competition in the Olympics quite often, almost every single year. Their version of Independence Day, when they broke from a communist government, is June 12th of every year. And this is coming from that Soviet Union into the Russian Federation. Moving south and looking at Southern Asian countries, we're grouping them together as a group of 7. India, its capital is New Delhi. Pakistan, its capital is Islamabad. Nepal is Kathmandu. Bhutan is Thimphu. Bangladesh is Dhaka. Maldives is Mal. And Sri Lanka is Colombo. India itself has over 1 billion people in this larger country. It has a mixed economy and many geographical features because it's slightly large, but at the same time it's located more towards the equator than anything. Geographical features include plateaus and mountains, deserts, valleys, ghats, and bays. The climate itself is primarily a monsoon season because it is a peninsula that's exposed to the ocean, the Indian Ocean, 9 times out of 10. This means it's hot, wet, or Slightly cool, but 9 times out of 10, whenever we hear about a hurricane or a tropical storm, it's in areas around India or by India itself. The natural resources of this country include mineral resources and energy supplies, as well as hydroelectric power. Once again, those energy supplies are oil, natural gas, and coal, but the minerals can be iron ore, chromite, or limestone. The government of India is a parliamentary democracy, and a really prominent religion is Hinduism or Buddhism. Middle Eastern countries can group together and be about 16 different countries, with the largest population coming from the country of Turkey at 72.9 million people. Because there's so many different countries, their government and religions range from democracy all the way to an absolute monarchy, depending where you're looking at in the Middle East. Religions range from Judaism and Christianity to Islam, as well as Muslim religion, that being the most popular one out of those four. The economy ranges from socialist market economies to a free market, just like the United States. And when we look at this, we can see that there is a large majority of those Middle Eastern countries who specialize in selling oil or other types of products for minerals and energy supplies. If it's green, it's food or drink. Orange and pink have to do with different types of metals. Textile is yellow, gray is machinery, blue is electronics or, say, cars. And then we've got the purple one talking about other resources of the world. Those Middle Eastern countries have a lot of different cultures. First of all, a type of culture that they have is called an epics, or a tale or poem about heroes or heroines of this type of story. They're very famous for their architecture, especially in religious practicing areas like mosques or writing of calligraphy. Many of these people in the Middle East live in cities with a bazaar, which is a traditional marketplace of a busy area. It's kind of like a Saturday afternoon farmers market that happens all the time for them. Living standards vary widely because of those countries, the weather. These developed countries with an oil industry are most of the time rich, like Saudi Arabia. And developing countries have a strange population due to those large economics in other countries around them. The history of this area includes the time of Mesopotamia, or what's called a Fertile Crescent. It's a strip of land that curves from the Mediterranean Sea to the Persian Gulf, and this is an area of polytheism and monotheism religion. This area has 3 world religions. All 3 have to do with a monotheistic worship. And they struggle between Israel and Palestine is historically significant when it changed from a religious fight to a political fight. What comes to mind most of the time for us when Middle Eastern countries are mentioned is the fight between the U.S. and those countries based upon the attack on September 11, 2001. A map here shows that we're talking about China, Japan, and Korea as we circle back around, moving north of the Asian countries. Countries like China, Mongolia, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan are all linked together. China itself has 1.3 billion people. Its capital is Beijing, and the economy is a market socialism, or a blend between socialism and capitalism, which is what we have in the United States. Geography, physical features includes mountains, deserts, plains, plateaus, and basins. And because it's such a large country that ranges in location, the climate itself can be dry. It can also be a place that's humid or wet, tropical, or highlands with mountains. Depends on the area that you're located in. Natural resources of this country, once again, have energy resources of oil deposits and coal. They also use hydroelectric power and many minerals like iron ore, manganese, nickel, and tungsten. But regardless, China also mines many gems like sapphires, rubies, and pearls. The government itself actually is a communist government run by the Chinese Communist Party, though nowadays it is seen as more of a free country with their government, willing to cooperate with many other countries on an economic level or governmental level. Japan has a population of 127.7 million people. It's a capital of Tokyo and an economy that imports 60% of the food in a free market economy. Geographical features include Mount Fuji in the Sea of Japan that ranges throughout those many islands that make up the country. And the climate could be humid or subtropical because they are islands surrounded by water at all times. Natural resources, once again, include those three main ones like iron ore, coal, and oil for minerals. And they also have an intense agriculture, even though they get most of their food shipped in. The government is a constitutional monarchy, which means the power of the emperor is limited basically to relegate primary ceremonial duties, not necessarily the one who's always making decisions and always in charge. Religion can range from Shinto, which is a respect of nature, a love of simple things and concern for cleanliness, as well as Buddhism being popular in the country. Culture and lifestyle of Japan range in many ways. They have the highest lifestyle expectancy and life expectancy or age in the world. They also have a large amount of economic success because of a high environmental pollution coming from that increase in technology. So one is good, one is bad, but they both go together. Because they are on the Pacific tectonic plate, they have a constant threat of destructive earthquakes, and many other types of cultural include a kimono, or a large robe with silk and open necks. It wraps around the person with traditional Japanese garments. They have 3 or 4 different types of Japanese theater, being the most popular of No, Kabuki, and Bunraku. Historical facts here range on the idea that out of all of the islands, the 4 that are listed here, the largest one of them housing Tokyo on the island of Honshu. The Koreas, there are 2 of them that have split. So North Korea, its capital is Pyongyang, with a population of 22.9 million people. The economy is a dictatorial command economy. And its geographical features and climate really surround a humid continental climate. This government is a single-party state, and the religion that is practiced is the same in both Koreas of Confucianism and Buddhism. South Korea is a country that is more open to many different types of economics and culture. Its capital is Seoul and has a population of 48.3 million people, which is over double that of North Korea. Its economy is a mixed economic system with a government and centralized ability for them to work together. Its main climate is tropical dry climate because it is closer to the equator and surrounded by water on the peninsula. It has a democratic government and the same type of religions that North Korea practices. What's right here that separates the 2 countries is called the DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone. The Koreas have a history in 1910 of the Japanese taking over Korea and making it part of their empire. But after World War II, Korea became a divided country. Communist troops took over the north, and American troops aided the people in the south in dividing this country along the 38th parallel line of latitude. 1950, Korea actually tried to attack South Korea to unite the communist rule, but the United Nations defended South Korea and ended this entire battle in 1953 without any sort of significant victory on either side. Because of this, they are separated by a 2.5-mile wide demilitarized zone, or DMZ, which means that no side is allowed to place any soldiers or weapons inside that 2.5 miles, but they do have it on the borders outside of it. Other Asian countries that we will discuss later in this unit include all of the islands in the southern part of the sea, or the Philippine Sea, South China Sea, or Northern Pacific. The idea here is it's most of the small countries above Australia and the south of China. These include Burma, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines out of everything else.